As promised, who's going to help me keep it in the middle of the road better than my partner on Compass Media Networks and their coverage of college football, including Alabama beating Georgia the other night? The former Virginia Cavalier. Most importantly, though, because Thursday night it is Big Blue. It is the Giants and the Eagles. Tiki Barber, former Giant as well. Tiki Barber on the Three Dog Thursday podcast. How are you, sir? Good to be with you.
I am doing fantastic, TJ. I'm going to miss you this weekend, but I'm excited to see you the following weekend to go back down to Tuscaloosa and Bryant-Denny Stadium. Interesting fact here, TJ. Most people, maybe if you're a Giants fan, you might know this, but most people won't. My very first game of my career was against the Philadelphia Eagles. The very last game of my career, playoff game in 2007. After the 2006 season, also against the Philadelphia Eagles. I started and ended my career with these humongous rivalry.
And I think it's safe to say, hated them then, still hate them now. Because if you're a Giants fan, you got to hate the Eagles. If you're a Cowboys fan, you got to hate the Giants. It's just how it works.
Yeah, but TJ, you know what I say to them whenever they see me, and because they kind of respect me, but they still kind of hate me. I always say to them, it's standard. It comes out before I even think about it. I say, but you hate my brother more, don't you?
That's true.
And
because
they do.
of Rondé with the pick six that closed down the Super Bowl year. That's true. They probably do hate twin brother Rondé a little bit more. All right, so let's get in to all of this. And again, if you're only hearing this, Tiki, I say this all the time for the audience. It's only hearing us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you found us through a social media link. Find the video on YouTube, Three Dog Thursday video roundtable. So it's audio and video, but for those only listening, you'll see what we look like, and you'll see Tiki macked out in the studio and the whole bit. And we're going to be showing some video as we go along. So let's get right into Thursday night, Giants and the Eagles. And again, the Giants off of a victory. Here it is right here. They're promoting it. The Giants off of a win over the Washington football team. Now travel to Philadelphia, who's really struggled. Everybody in the East has struggled. If the Giants are going to hang close, if not win, what does it come down to, Tiki?
It comes down to their defensive front, the front four, getting pressure on Carson Wentz and making him uncomfortable. The reason that you loved Carson is because he just has his playmaking ability. He doesn't care about mistakes. He'd be a great golfer if he was a good golfer. He does something egregious wrong, he gets right back up. It doesn't bother him. You don't see it on his face. You don't see it in his demeanor, and it's allowed him to have success this season despite him throwing 7 interceptions to only 4 touchdowns. Now, they played tight against Pittsburgh last week, or 2 weekends ago. Even against the Baltimore Ravens, they came back. And so they're a team that has the ability to score and to do good things. But if you force Carson Wentz into mistakes, they're not good enough around him to make up for it.
Yep, and the Giants obviously got a confidence builder against the Washington football team. We have to keep catching ourselves. They're the football team, even though you played against the nickname of that team for so many years.
It looks like they're going to be the Washington football team into perpetuity now.
Yeah, it's very strange what's going on there with the colors and the Giants able to get the win. I wanted to share something else while I'm sharing the screen here. Look at this from the Wayback Machine. Do I see this? You were sharing it on social media. This is rookie year Tiki Barber against the Philadelphia Eagles. Am I right? 97?
Yeah, this is 1997. It was later in the year.
Pick it up here. You're the analyst. Pick it up here. There's a big run in the second half of the game.
Yep. So we had some good coordinators. Jim Fossil called this play. It was a fake reverse. And back then, do this misdirection that we see all the time now in college sports and in the NFL. It didn't exist. So that fake misdirection to Cap Callaway, Chris Callaway froze everybody, and I was able to scoot down the sideline. But my hamstring was barking. You see me reaching for it right there. Like I almost didn't play in this game.
Wow.
And in fact, I had probably 20 or so carries.
Now
Charles Way, who's my fullback. Look at
Charles Way. I think you're still buying dinners for Charles Way for reasons just like that, right?
Oh,
Clear
yeah.
the way.
Charles had 18 carries in this game himself and ran for like 75 yards. But I went to school. I went to UVA with Charles Way. So I've known Charles. I had known Charles at this point for like 5 years.
Right.
So we had a really good relationship. And then
look at that
Danny Cannell, of Florida State fame, the great Florida State Seminole, Danny Cannell, with the game winner. Or actually, it was the game kind of sealer to Chris Callaway as well.
How about that? So love talking with Tiki Barber, love reminiscing about all of this stuff. and that rivalry. Just one more time, when you go to play them, and I know it's weird in 2020, there's no fans there, but when you typically go there to play them as the Giants, it's as wild and crazy as anything you can go and experience in the rivalry being a New York team, right?
You have no idea, TJ. It got to a point where I wouldn't let my family go to that game. I mean, it was only, I lived in New York, so it was only an hour away. I wouldn't let anyone go. But here's the other interesting piece of history relative to me and the Philadelphia Eagles. So in 2006, I was on the verge of wanting to retire, or almost retired in 2005. I had just lost a little bit of the passion for the game. So, but I decided I was going to play one more season. And in 2006, we go and play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. It was like the first or second game of the season. I don't remember. But it's crazy. It's loud. People are screaming. They're cussing at you. Like the 5-year-old kids are cussing at you. And I remember feeling like emotionless. You know what I mean? I wasn't moved by it. Usually I'd go there and I'd hear all that stuff. They're just screaming at you. And I'm just like, I can't wait to get out there and kill y'all. I felt like, I don't know, tamped down. And I remember turning to my fullback at the time. His name was Jim Finn. And I said, Finney, I think I don't have it anymore, man. The fire's not burning the same. I think I'm going to retire this year. And he's like, what in the hell are you talking about? I was like, dude, I'm going to have a great season, because I had prepared. Like, my body was physically and mentally, I was at a heightened level. But I said, I don't have the fire anymore. And I knew it because I went to Philly and I didn't feel like, killing everybody in the stadium. So I have a deep history with the Eagles, man.
Oh, man. All right. So that's Thursday Night Football. Depending on when they're seeing us and hearing us, we'll see how the Giants do under first-year coach Joe Judge and whether they can keep rolling along or not. We do know a team that was rolling this weekend, and I want the outside perspective from Tiki Barber. You mentioned your brother's old team. He played his entire career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers looked tremendous against the Green Bay Packers, 38 unanswered points. Tiki, again, from a distance, I can be accused of being biased about Buccaneers because I'm involved with the radio broadcast, etc.
Yep.
What did you see out of that game from the Bucs and what they did to Green Bay?
Well, to be honest, the first couple of drives, I was nervous. Green Bay just ran down the field. Now, obviously, I root for the Buccaneers because my brother is still family with the Buccaneers. So they drove down the field twice, and I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be a long day for Tampa. And then Jamel Dean had that interception, that pick six, and it just flipped. Like, all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers, who's still a good quarterback, even though he's 38 years old. I mean, your quarterback is 43, but still, he's getting older. It looked like he got frustrated and lost and didn't have any answers. Like, sometimes you can look into somebody's face and say, you don't have a clue, right? Like, you're getting confused and you don't have an answer. And for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to think that, that this Buccaneers defense was balling, and it was obviously against the run. They've been the number one run defense for 2 years now, a year and a half, I should say. But it was also, JPP, who just like resurrected himself, has become this impactful, get in your face, put pressure on you. Maybe not getting all the sack numbers, but he's disruptive to an offense, and we saw that. And then Ndamukong Suh being this old school intimidator. Remember, he used to be that way. Now he's back that way again. There's an energy that this Bucs teams, even though we always talk about Tom Brady and Gronk now because he had his first touchdown, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and even Cameron Brate, tight ends, and Ronald Jones is having a strong run season this year. We always talk about the offense. The catalyst for success for the Buccaneers is going to be defense this season, and we see it because they shut down an elite offense that had heretofore been amazing against some really good opponents. So I'm encouraged by the balance that we see with the Buccaneers. Sometimes, like with Seattle, like Russell Wilson, he's on an MVP trajectory this year. They literally have the worst defense in the National Football League in Seattle. So the only way they're going to win is by outscoring people. The Buccaneers, with the way that they're playing, can win both ways, or two ways, multiple ways, and that's exciting.
Well, and that, again, I will say it. I said it earlier in the podcast, and you see what's over my shoulder. I am obviously aligned with the Bucs. They are not the 0-2 Buccaneers defense that your brother played on, that, again, had Sapp and Brooks and Lynch and your brother Rondé Barber, two of those in the Hall of Fame, and very possible that John Lynch and Rondé Barber will end up in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. I'm not saying the 2020 Buccaneers are the 02 Buccaneers and their defense, but that reminded me of it Sunday. That was impressive, like 02 against Green Bay. If it can continue. Again, you're hearing Tiki Barber with me. Love Tiki's insight. If you're only hearing us, find the YouTube video roundtable. I plug away again. If you're only listening through Sports Gambling Podcast Network of shows, if you're only listening through a social media link on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, etc., come find the video roundtable because Tiki is rocking it today, and love the insight here all about it. All right, so you and I work college football. We're all over the place. Compass Media Network's NCAA football coverage. We were privileged to be part of number 2 against number 3 Alabama and Georgia Saturday night on Compass Media Networks. I'm showing, for those that are seeing us, the phenomenal play by Devontae Smith in the back of the end zone in the second half of that game. In the fourth quarter of that game, the Alabama wide receiver with the toe tap in the back of the end zone. Tiki, we were there. It was a knockdown, drag-out game, and then Alabama pulled away. Why and how did they pull away, and how impressed were you?
Yeah, that Devontae Smith touchdown that you just watched, that was the nail getting hammered all the way down to the wood. This is the one that put him away.
Look at him get the feet down like the NFL.
That's right. You pointed that out on the broadcast that we were doing on Compass. It's like there's 3 letters now attached to Devontae Smith's name. This is your quote, NFL, because not only did he get the 1 foot down, he got the 2nd foot down. He toe tapped the 2nd one. Look, so Georgia has a really good team. Defensively, they're sound, they're stout. I think they're number 2 overall. They're number 5 scoring defense, at least they were before last weekend, because they're aggressive, they're smart. Azeez Ojulari, he's a good pressure guy. He's the one that calls Mac Jones' interception at the beginning of the game. They have a quarterback, though, Georgia, who is he's average. He's 5'10", he's 195 pounds. If he's playing from ahead, you can run the ball and have him have simple throws. He's going to win for you because they're old school. They'll play defense and they'll win with an average quarterback. But eventually, and again, they were ahead at halftime. It was 24-20, Georgia at halftime. But as soon as you start to press, and I think I warned our audience, or at least I warned our Georgia audience, the Georgia Bulldogs offensive coordinator Todd Monken cannot try to be the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can't try to be fast. You can't try to, air it out. You can't try to spread and do you can't do that with this Georgia team because they're not talented enough to do so. And in the second half, you started to see this Georgia offense trying to do that. And what it caused was turnovers. Alabama's defense isn't vintage, but if you give them turnover opportunities like throwing late across the middle and high, in the red zone, you're going to get interceptions. And Alabama, who you just mentioned, Devontae Smith, who's joined by Jalen Waddle and John Mechie III, along with their quarterback, Mac Jones, will burn you because eventually you got to go man somewhere. And you go man somewhere, you're getting beat because those guys are just more athletic. I love Mac Jones because he was supposed to be the filler quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa, who's now with the Miami Dolphins, looks like he's going to start this weekend for the Miami Dolphins. On the other side is this young kid from California, Bryce Young. We need a filler in the middle. Mac Jones, who's known for 400 yards 3 weeks in a row and has, 12 touchdowns on the season, or maybe more than that, 15 touchdowns on the season, is second, probably, and in some cases, I would say first in the Heisman Trophy candidacy.
I'll take that filler.
Because of the level of difficulty.
Right.
We've seen the ACC, right? These are pretender teams in the ACC. Clemson's going to Clemson could score 80 points every week if they wanted to in the ACC. Alabama doesn't have that luxury, but they have a quarterback that's playing like he has that luxury in Mac Jones.
And Mac Jones, the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, named on Monday as well, and we saw it there firsthand. A few more moments with Tiki Barber. Again, Tiki, part of the Tiki and Tierney Show with Brandon Tierney, weekday afternoons on CBS Sports Network, CBS's radio network as well. Simulcast on TV, on cable. You see them every weekday afternoon between 3 and 6 Eastern time. Love this man's insight. Love working with him on Compass Media Network's NCAA football coverage on the weekends. One more, you know that I'm biased. You see the hat, the World Series going on. We already have a Stanley Cup in Tampa Bay. Now with the Lightning having won the championship. Now the Rays going for the baseball title, the World Series. Game 1 in the books at the time that we're taping. We don't know what's going to happen in Game 2 before this podcast is released. So the audience may already know about Game 2 if they're hearing us Thursday morning. We don't know about Game 2. We're watching Mookie Betts on the video version here with a home run. The Dodgers routed the Rays in Game 1. I am optimistic that the Rays can make this a series. Are you now going to poo-poo that and tell me the Dodgers run away here, Tiki Barber, with this and win the title?
I don't think they run away, but Mookie Betts, who struck out earlier in the game on a fastball, which he very rarely does, got his revenge as we were just watching here on this video and goes yard to put it away in the bottom of the 6th. The narrative that I cared most about in Game 1 was Clayton Kershaw. Everybody's been talking about this and his alleged postseason failings. Now, they're glaring when he hasn't performed, but with last night's victory and his 1-run, 8 strikeout, 6-inning performance, he joined the likes of Roger Clemens and John Smoltz as one of few postseason starters who has only given up 1 run in the postseason. And, you know, he's done some great things over the course of his career. In the regular season, he's unreal. In the postseason, his ERA is almost 2 points higher. A lot of that is circumstance, mainly that you're playing the best team from the other side in the American League. But I think he's turning the table on how we're thinking about him because of what he did in Game 1 against the Rays. Now, to your question specifically, I love Kevin Cash. I love his ability to look at analytics and be emotionless when making decisions because when you are inferior, and let's say it, they are right now. You look at Seager and Mookie Betts, who's an MVP, and Bellinger, who crushed one as well. It's like they have talent. Justin Turner, there's talent all over the
number one scoring team in baseball this 2020 season. The Dodgers and the Rays don't have that. That's what you're saying. The Rays don't have that.
They don't have that. So the only way they're winning this series or winning a couple of games and making it a series is if they outpitch the LA Dodgers, and that's going to be hard because of Walker Buehler, who is the ace, but is being treated like the second fiddle because of Clayton Kershaw. Dustin May is young, but we saw him in the NLCS stabilize what could have been a really ugly Game 7 against the Atlanta Braves. I don't think he threw a ball. He didn't throw a ball for 10 pitches. He threw 9 straight. He didn't throw a strike for 10 pitches. Threw 9 straight balls, but was able to get out of it with little damage. They ultimately came back and won. So Kevin Cash has got to rely on his flamers. There's this bullpen that's deep and heavy and confident in themselves to find the matchups. It's going to suck because it's going to slow down the game, but it's the only way that they can win it. I'm telling you, it's the only way they can win it.
Well, and they've already knocked off the Yankees and the Astros, 2 of the highest payroll teams in baseball. The Dodgers are right there with them with playing this way. We'll see if they can make it a series. Again, the audience already knows before this podcast is released if the Dodgers win ahead and won Game 2 because they're playing that on Wednesday night. But I would even say down 2-0, it's not over because the Dodgers were down 2-0 and came back and roared on the Braves. It's going to be harder on the Rays. If they don't get the split on Wednesday night, it's going to be harder. But we shall see as all of this unfolds. I just know this area. You know this, Tiki. You've been down here a bunch. Your brothers live down here forever. This area is on fire for the Rays to have a chance at the World Series. The Bucs looking like a Super Bowl contender. You already have the Stanley Cup. This is the epicenter right now of all of sports. Tampa Bay, who knew?
It is,
Tiki?
and it's still warm down there. You can go over to Clearwater Beach and enjoy yourself, and then go find somewhere to watch the game because you can't.
I took the dog for a walk a little while ago, mid-morning, and it's 88 degrees in Tampa Bay, where it's a little chilly elsewhere. So yeah, it's still like summertime around. So
speaking of dog, 3-Dog Thursday.
Yes.
3-Dog Wednesday we are right now because we're taping this on Wednesday. Take the Giants plus 6.5. You got to take the Giants plus 6.5.
He's all over the Giants. All right,
they've only gotten blown out one time. That was against the 49ers. I was at the game. I can't explain explain it, but they don't get blown out. Take the Giants plus 600.
All right, so he's saying go for that on Three Dog Thursday for Thursday night. And let me plug away here. You take a look at Tiki and Tierney doing their things. Tiki on with Brandon Tierney, afternoons on CBS Sports Radio. There the guys are. You see them in their studios. Hey, that looks amazingly like what we're seeing on Three Dog Thursday right here with Tiki on the video screen on CBS Sports Network. Check them out between 3 and 6 Eastern time on the radio and on the TV simulcast as well. I'm not sure if they were seeing it when I was talking about it, but there you are seeing Tiki and Tierney here on the program. You were interviewing Charles Davis during this segment back earlier, but there you guys are in the home studio on Tiki and Tierney. So hopefully the audience on YouTube sees it that time as I shared. I'm just we're winging it on a live version here of the Three Dog Thursday Roundtable. Listen, I'm going to miss you this weekend. You've got other commitments, so we're gonna on Compass Media Networks have Florida State and Louisville without you. Let's make it a date for Alabama again with Mississippi State in a couple of weekends.
Can't wait.
Mike Leach, the mad scientist, against Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. We'll look forward to that in a couple of weekends. And let's see how your Giants do for Three Dog Thursday on Thursday night. Tiki, you're the best. Thank you for hanging with me here on the podcast. I appreciate it, my friend.
It is my pleasure, my friend. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, TJ. Have a good call this weekend on both, really. And I'll see you down in Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks.
I love it. All right, the podcast does roll on. Brian Edwards coming up, talking more with me about the NFL. Stay with us.